Hey everyone, thanks for clicking in. If you're new here, my name is Maggie and I am a reseller on platforms like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Poshmark, others included. Now, today I'm just going to do a short little news roundup. I've read a few articles and have a few news items that I thought might be of interest to resellers. So let's get started. Now, I am going to share my screen and show you these articles that I've read, but if you are a person who is, if you're working and just want to listen, you're going to be able to get the gist of it from just me talking about it. So, first item I thought was of interest and more in the what the heck are they thinking category is that eBay is increasing the character limit for feedback. And my first reaction to this was, really? Basically, previously sellers and buyers could only leave feedback for up to 80 characters. We realize that's not often enough space to include important details. Now, I don't know what important details you need to leave in a feedback comment, but okay. They're increasing the feedback field to allow a maximum of 500 characters. This will apply when you leave feedback for buyers, receive feedback from buyers, and reply to buyer feedback. So, yeah, I mean, I would much rather see an increase in the character limit for titles, but if this may be of interest to you, and if so, yay. For me, that's a kind of a announcement. Moving along, I thought this was a very interesting that the Inform Consumers Act, which stands for Integrity, Notification, and Fairness in Online Retail Marketplaces, was introduced on the Senate floor on March 23rd, 2021. This legislation requires online marketplaces to disclose to consumers basic information about high-volume third-party sellers, including the seller's name and address, email address, telephone numbers. Now here's the kicker. High volume third party sellers are defined in the Act as vendors who have made at least 200 sales totaling at least $5,000 over a 1 year period. To me, and I think probably to many of you, that is not really a high volume seller. To me, that's a small seller, which is what I consider myself to be. Now, the proposed legislation also requires online marketplaces to provide customers with a hotline to report spurious activity regarding the sale of counterfeit, stolen, or otherwise dangerous merchandise. And that is apparently what this is all about. Because of the boom in online activity due to COVID, which is probably just going to continue, they're concerned about counterfeit goods and buyer protection for buyers in that way. So I get it, but so I did a little dig online to see what more I could find out about this, and what I did come up with was this interesting article entitled eBay, Etsy, Mercari offer up Poshmark announce PASS Coalition. That's PASS Coalition, and that stands for Protect America's Small Sellers. So this group is formed to lobby and to try to change this Inform Act. The PASS believes, this coalition, PASS, believes big businesses could deal with the new requirements, creating advantages that would unfairly burden small online sellers and entrepreneurs. Indie sellers that don't have a DBA or other business entity would have to list their real names, addresses, and other information. But you know, some of us who do have a DBA are still a sole proprietor and still have personal information that would be involved here. Requiring our sellers, many of whom are women casually selling items from their closets, to publicly disclose personally identifiable information is of great concern, as doing so may compromise their privacy, security, and ability to thrive. For instance, if a seller's contact information were shared with shoppers, that's not only a risk to the person, but this is Etsy speaking, but it also compromises Etsy's ability to ensure seller integrity and consumer protections if communications take place outside its platform. And yes, you can. I personally have a P.O. box, and you can certainly do that. But I do think this bill is a concern, and so it looks like these reselling platforms are looking into it on behalf of the small sellers. And I do note, though, that missing from this list of online e-commerce groups is Amazon, which I find a little interesting. So I'm sure there's going to be more news around this, and I will try to keep up with it and keep everyone informed. Next thing is an exciting update that I found in a Facebook group called Shipping on Marketplace. And this is Facebook Marketplace, which is giving an update on the seller appeals process. So they're going to update the seller appeals process in 2 phases. I'm very new to selling on Facebook Marketplace, so I've never really experienced this. But for those of you who have, I thought this might be of interest. What they're going to do is have a revamped your sales page. The page now includes more details for orders that have been refunded due to purchase protection claims. These orders now include a link to the order detail page where you can file an appeal within 10 days after the claim is opened. In addition to the existing email notifications, you will now receive notifications within the app. So you don't have to go to email to find notifications. You'll be able to see them in the app to inform you about successful buyer claims, remind you to file an appeal, ask for more information in case additional details are needed for your appeal, and to inform you of the decision on your appeal. That's what's already been implemented. What is coming soon will be a revamped appeals process to enable you to appeal claims before funds are withheld from your payout. So that's what's coming. And it looks like they will be having a seller's appeal AMA on April 8th with the Facebook Market team that you can participate in. There's not a link to it here, so you might have to do some more digging around to find out where that's going to be taking place. Obviously, probably maybe a Facebook Live or something. So like I said, I've never experienced this. I do feel like from my experience on Facebook, having come from sites like eBay that are more established, that the Facebook Marketplace processes on everything are rather bare bones, and I do kind of feel like they're going to be developing as it goes along. So we'll see what happens with that. But I thought that was just interesting, and you might find that of interest. Another item that I thought was of interest was about Etsy. And I do sell on Etsy in 2 basic categories: vintage clothing, vintage books. And what I found interesting about this was, this is from Fool.com, which is a finance website. And the heading is, "This important number captures the growth that lies ahead for Etsy." So Etsy, the online marketplace, but it talks about how the boom in online online commerce due to COVID-19. Etsy, the online marketplace specializing in unique handmade goods, was critical to the success of many entrepreneurs and small business owners, and it's had an incredible growth over the past year. Activity among habitual buyers, or those who make purchases with Etsy on 6 or more different days over the past year, has skyrocketed in the past several quarters. And this cohort could play a significant role in the company's future. So apparently, one big piece of Etsy's financials is that it has a really large share of repeat buyers. Etsy's revenue growth during the pandemic has been nothing short of fantastic. Millions of merchants have flocked to its platform to sell artisan and handmade products that aren't often available anywhere else. And in case in point, that in the early beginning of the pandemic, it became a go-to place for masks. And here's the key. So in Q1, so the activity of buyers overall, this chart just gives really interesting information. And for those who are just listening, I'm just going to run through it. It's total revenue in Q1, this is 2020, was up 35%. Q2, 137%. And then Q3, 128 and 129%. But the number that's being talked about in this article is the number of habitual buyers, which went from 22% in Q1 to 64% in Q2, 104% in Q3, and 157% in Q4. At the end of 2020, Etsy had 6.5 million habitual buyers out of a total of 81.9 million active shoppers. As the company brings on new customers, it has increasingly been able to convert them into regular shoppers, with gross merchandise sales per active buyer increasing from approximately $100 in 2018 to nearly $120 last year. So, if you're not selling on Etsy, and I know not everybody sells those vintage things or handmade things, but if you do have things, you might want to think about looking into Etsy if you're not already on there, or if you are, pay more attention to it. Maybe it's kind of down there on my list of sites that I really pay attention to, but I know that Etsy, in my experience, has been doing a lot with quite a few of my Etsy sales have actually come from Google search into Etsy, and there is a premium price for that, I found out. So you have to weigh that. But, you know, I just thought that would be of interest to people who maybe were on the fence about Etsy. It's some good news there. Next item is a little announcement I saw on eBay Seller Central announcement board that says reduce excess inventory this spring through Amazon outlets. So, and I did a little digging. I didn't find a lot on this, but I did find this article on people.com that Amazon's outlet store has a hidden section of super duper discounts, and they're all $10 and under. So now on the Amazon app, if you go under if you go into on the mobile shopping app under programs and feature, you'll see a new item called Amazon Outlet, or at least it might, I don't know how new it is. This article from People was about 3 weeks ago, so this probably isn't new news, but basically they have a lot of rock bottom prices on a lot of different items. And this isn't really, doesn't count. I don't sell new items or like that. This is more geared towards that. Those of you who do retail arbitrage, which I don't do, but Amazon's announcement about this is geared towards helping your inventory health. So if you sell with FBA, Amazon Outlet provides you with an opportunity to improve your inventory health. So instead of going right to the ditch inventory or recall inventory, it's a way for you to maybe get rid of some stuff through the Amazon Outlet. You can use the manage excess inventory page to identify products eligible for Amazon Outlet deals and submit deals for approval using the menu to the right of eligible listings. So just another way to move product out and about. And that is my Nicky cat in the background who is demanding my attention. Go on, little bubby. So, yeah. That is just a few pieces of news that I thought might be of interest to resellers. I hope it was of interest to some of you, or at least some of it was of interest to some of you. I will link below a link to all those articles that I just talked about, so you could read anything in depth that you wanted to read more on. And if you do like this kind of content, if you would like me to keep popping on when I have some news, because I'm always digging up news, it's just a thing I do, leave a comment below. If people like it, I would do it more often. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget that every morning on the Chick Picker channel, which will be linked below, 9 a.m. Eastern, the Reseller Squad does a chit chat, Reseller chit chat. And also on Monday night, this coming Monday, April the 5th, I will be online with Beth, Reseller Rowboat. We will be talking about eBay and Poshmark and digging into categories and nitty gritty on those platforms. So I will also link Beth's channel in the box below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later.